This video is just going to be an overview of the tulip I plan on making in April. The only supplies that are necessary are a large square sheet of paper and a small square sheet of paper in 2 different colors. This is going to be the flower of the tulip, and this will be the stem and leaves of the tulip. And then aside from that, you're gonna need a pair of scissors and also maybe some tape, which we can get to when the time comes. But first we're gonna make the flower. So the first step to making the flower of the tulip is to take the large square sheet of paper and fold the top left corner down to the bottom right corner, just like this. I'm gonna bring the top left corner to the bottom right corner and just crease. This does not have to be perfect at all, since this tulip is quite simple. And you're just going to run your fingers along that crease to make it more defined. And then you're gonna unfold, like that. You'll see that crease is right there. Then you're going to take the top right corner and bring it down to the top left corner, just like this. And line them up and crease. Then you're gonna unfold, and you'll see we have a sort of X. So you're gonna fold along any of these diagonals we just made. So I'll just fold along this. And then you're going to rotate it so that the tip of the triangle is facing upwards. All right, so one more time. You're going to fold along one of the diagonals, just like that, and rotate so that the tip of the triangle is upwards. And you're going to crease along the bottom. So the next step you're going to do is, if you'll notice, there's a line right there from the first crease we made, and you're going to put your finger on the bottom of that line. And you're going to take this flap here, this flap of the triangle, and bring it up slightly, kind of like that. And then you're going to run the crease all the way down to the bottom, just like so. So one more time, you're gonna pinch down at the bottom, and you're gonna take this corner and bring it up a little bit, just like that. And you're gonna do the exact same thing on the other side. So you put your finger on the bottom, and you bring the corner up very slightly, just like so. So you can kind of see the flower coming together. So this step was a little tricky because there aren't any references to go off of when you're making the folds. But once again, this edge right here, put your finger on the bottom and fold this corner up ever so slightly, just like so. And then repeat on the other side. So the next step is you're just going to take this and then flip it over like that. And then rotate it so that these little spikes or points or whatever you want to call them are pointing to the left. And you'll notice you'll have 2 corners here and here. So you're going to take this first corner and fold it so that you make a line from about this point to about this point, just like this, like that. So to explain a little simply, you need to just make a crease so that you get a smaller triangle that extends almost all the way to the end of this point. A line from this to this, just like that. And you're gonna do the exact same thing on the other side. So I can rotate the paper, make a line from here to here, kind of like this. Right, just like that. So now I'll have this shape, and when I flip it over, I'll have my completed flower. So I'm gonna put this to the side for now and start working on the stem. So the stem is much easier than the flower. You take your smaller sheet of paper and you fold the top left corner to the bottom right corner, just like that. And you're gonna run your finger along the crease line, and then unfold. Now you're gonna flip it over, and you'll notice that the crease is much more defined on the opposite side. So what you're going to do now is you're going to take this edge and fold it to the center line, just like this. And don't be too concerned about making this part look perfect because it's hidden in the end, just like that. Right, so once again, hold down in the corner, fold this edge to this center line, just like so. And you're gonna repeat the exact same thing on the other side, and when you're done, you'll get something that looks quite like a kite, just like this. All the way down to the corner. So you'll have something that looks quite like a kite. And now what you're going to do is you're going to take this center line and you're gonna fold it in half right along it, just like this. And you're going to really press hard against this center crease because the paper gets a little thick. So now you'll have a very narrow triangle. So the next step is take this and flip it over so that the opening is on the top, right? So the opening of the triangle is on the top. And you're gonna take the longer flap, the longer side, and just sort of fold it upwards so that it's relatively straight, right? So if you start like this with the opening of your narrow triangle on the top, you take the long flap and you fold it upwards so that this point is pointing almost straight. You'll have this, and this is your finished stem. So the next step is connecting the flower and the stem. So this would result in a shape that kind of looks like this, and as you can see, that'll be what our finished flower looks like. But what we need to do to actually get to there is to cut off a small piece off the flower. Alternatively, you could tape these together, but it looks much nicer and it sits much neater if you do cut. So you'll notice we have a small little hole on the bottom, right? And then a sharp point here. So you're going to slide this point into the flower. And if that's too difficult to get into, you can open the flower up from the top, stick your hand in, and then open up the point like that. And then you'll just stick this point in there, right? So now you have your finished tulip, and then if necessary, you can add tape to parts that aren't sitting correctly.